So before I came to the office, my health journey was really at a dead end, rock bottom. I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, and that's really where my problems started. And past 9 years, I've just been trying to find some balance. My thyroid levels were never stable. I'd fluctuate from every hyperthyroid to hypothyroid symptom you could imagine. Fatigue, joint pain, weight gain, weight loss, brain fog. Number one symptom was absolutely just pure fatigue and exhaustion. I'd wake up in the morning, how am I going to get through the day? And it wasn't because I wasn't sleeping at night. It wasn't because there was too many stressors in my life. I didn't have an answer for it. We were avid hikers. We loved to be kayaking, doing things outdoors. I mean, there was days I just didn't want to go do those things. It was affecting my livelihood. I would rather go curl up and take a nap than go out and go for a hike, and that wasn't my norm. And I didn't want to do those things anymore because I was too tired. And it felt like an excuse almost, like people truly didn't understand when you feel that way, that you really are just exhausted. And I remember, Sawyer, he's my oldest, 8 years old, saying, "Mom, you're tired all the time." "Yeah, buddy, I am." He's like, "Do you feel okay?" And that took a toll on me. Like when my 8-year-old's asking me if I'm feeling okay. It's my job to be taking care of him, not him looking out for me. Outside of the fatigue, anxiety was another big symptom that I had. I ended up being on multiple different anxiety medications, which was very hard for me to accept. I'm not opposed to taking daily medications, but I didn't feel like I needed to be on an anxiety medication. But I relied on them for 4 years. I'd say it was probably over 3 months, 30 to 35 pound weight gain, and nothing that I changed. I didn't change my diet, didn't change my exercise routine. I used to be a personal trainer. I'm not completely naive to the healthcare field, and I just couldn't figure out why my joints were so inflamed. I couldn't put my wedding ring on, and it all happened within like 3 months. And that's when I said, I got to put the brakes on, and we've got to do something, because what I'm doing is not working. I also did struggle with just gut issues, feeling bloated, or I was taking antacids every night before bed. I slept with a bottle of Tums right next to my bed, and every night before bed I was taking them. Started in my second pregnancy, and it just never stopped. I remember asking both my endocrinologist and my primary care doctor, there has to be something I can do in my day-to-day to make myself feel better, to alleviate these symptoms. And their answer was pretty synonymous. They'd look at me and say, "You have Hashimoto's, it's a thyroid thing, and that's just the way it is." I wasn't satisfied with it. My experience at other doctor's offices before coming here, it was exhausting. I went in every appointment having done what they asked me to do, take my medications as prescribed, and I'd leave there with nothing more than a new medication, a higher dosage, and a lot of frustration. I tried to advocate for myself, and I remember walking into my appointment here the first time, literally carrying a stack of papers, my blood work, my test results, my notes, and just hanging onto them, thinking maybe today would be the day I got looked at like a person and not just a patient. And I sat down to my first appointment, and Dr. Q listened to my 9 years of frustrations, and that's when she sat there and told me that you can feel better, and it will take time and it will take work, but you will feel better. And that was really a turning point for me, just finally feeling heard and listened to. It was a beautiful day. I've been under care for about 7 months now, and the difference really is night and day. And I know this sounds cliche, and I've said it before, but this really did change my life. I have told so many people that. My thyroid levels are more stable than they have been since before my diagnosis. Outward appearance, I've lost just over 50 pounds. I am off all my anxiety medications that I've relied on for about 4 years, as well as any Tums, digestive medications, anything like that. I don't even have them in the room anymore. I'm just living day to day and with the energy to do it. I just feel like a new person. I can't put into words how I felt 7 months ago compared to how I feel right now. And it's just, I'm able to live my day-to-day life so much better than I was before. I'm raising my 2 kids with a purpose. I can be more present for them. I'm a better wife. I'm coaching their sports teams, and I'm an active volunteer in the community, and I feel like I can do it and not feel brought down by it. I'm excited to do it. I'll be the first to say that at the beginning of this journey, I was intimidated. However, the staff gave me every tool in my toolbox that I needed to succeed. So to say it was hard, I don't think is the right answer. Was it a change? Yes. And Those changes now are just part of my day-to-day. It didn't take long for those, what seemed intimidating to me, to just become a normal routine of my day. It was so much harder to be sick and feel the way I did than it was to make these changes. And it's the first time I've come to an office and seen results. And the people are invested in me and care about how I'm feeling. It's been unbelievable. I feel heard, I feel seen, I feel cared about. Not like I'm just walking in and out of an office to see how many numbers that they can bring through their door. I can't put into words how I felt 7 months ago compared to how I feel right now. And a true shining moment for me was, gosh, this was probably a month or so ago. We were sitting on the couch. I was with my 8-year-old son, and out of nowhere, he just looked at me and he goes, "Mom, you're not tired anymore." And that moment made me realize not only was I seeing a difference in myself, but my kids were. And that's everything to me. For them to see me work hard, make these positive changes, and see the results of that. So one of the most difficult things for me to start this process was knowing that this care wasn't covered by insurance. But again, that conversation with my husband, I was like, you have to fill your cup. No matter what that looks like, we have to do this. And to be completely honest with you, the years of care I went through previously, deductibles met every year because of all the tests, blood work, prescriptions, really isn't much different than the initial cost that I paid to get care here, but actually get results. So you have to figure out what's worth investing in. Are you worth investing in yourself? Because looking back, my only regret is that I didn't do it sooner. If I could say one thing to somebody who's contemplating starting care at Integrative Wellness Center, I would tell them you can't keep pouring from an empty cup. You have to fill yours up so you can keep overflowing others. And once I made that first appointment and sat down for that initial consultation, changed the trajectory of my entire life. And so I would just tell them, make that first appointment, have the first conversation, just make that first step, and you won't regret it. It's the best thing I've done for my health.